Okay, are we live now? Well, we are live, but are we live?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need to pull up the chat. I need to
yeah.
pull up.
Can
I
you
need to go to
check
your
the double check we are
yeah.
live streaming here? I think mic is already on. It's 11 people watching, so we are. Oh no, but it's not showing our face or
It's
anything.
it's play it's playing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me double
Yeah,
check.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is playing. Okay,
Let's
okay,
see.
so we're good.
Yep.
All right, so we are officially live with the year-end live stream with Kirk and myself. I was just on Kirk's channel just recently, but now Kirk is visiting me as a
Yeah.
guest, and we're kind of excited because we want to just randomly talk about many things, especially about the type of events we enjoy this year, but also the kind of event we want to go next year. And
Mhm.
so it's gonna be fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun to talk about this. And Kirk, anything you want to say as a
Yeah.
start?
Well, thanks for having me on. My
Yeah.
voice is kind of going out. I was at a Cornhusker bowl game this weekend, and so I was doing a lot of yelling at the game. So voice is still recovering. We won, so it was worth it.
Well, that was the reason why you lost your voice. I thought you had a
Yeah.
cold. So
No, no,
that's
no. I feel great. A little tired, but yeah, been doing some
okay.
yelling.
All right. So we got a bunch of people beginning to log in, 40 people already. So thank you for that. Let us know. Can you hear us okay? Like our voice for both Kirk and David. Are we clear to you? And yeah, just let us know that you can hear us, see us okay. Nothing is strange on this channel before we go too far. Otherwise, Kirk is a bit tired because it's late for him there. I'm not tired, but yeah, we'll keep on chatting and talking to see what we can share. Kind of like a year-end party, I guess. Like I said, I don't have a. I guess I don't know what do you call year-end party on YouTube channel.
Say
I
that
don't know.
again.
What do you call like a year-end party on YouTube channel? Is there like a
A
name
year
for it?
end of the year party.
End of year party? Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Okay, so they can hear us good. So welcome again. It's kind of official welcome, Kirk, and I am excited to be here, just catching up with you guys and talking about what happened this year in 2024 and what's going to be happening in 2025. And we'll try to answer questions because we're kind of random today,
Oh
and
yeah.
so we're not really like we don't have a script or anything or any preconceived ideas what to talk about. Um, Kirk, what do you want to talk about today, and what can we
Yeah.
invite people to
I'm
ask?
gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
What was if you had to pick one event in 2024? So it could be a car reveal or you getting to drive a new car. It could have been a press event where you drive multiple cars.
Mm.
Let me know what your biggest highlight was in 2024.
Very good question. There's a whole bunch of things that we did or I did. I would say, for me personally, anyway, definitely a highlight was the Land Cruiser press event. That was in January, right? Was that January?
I think it might have been April.
Was it April? Okay, we're really off the timing here. But anyway, earlier this year, sometime in the first half of 2024, we went
Yeah.
to a Land Cruiser event where we also saw the Forerunner for the first time.
Yep.
And so for me, that was highlight because not only did I get to drive a Land Cruiser, but we also was able to see the Forerunner and talk about it and on the beach there. And I ended up buying the Land Cruiser because of that, or not because of that, but after that. So for me,
Mhm.
that was really fun. But also, I've gone to Japan 3 times in 2024. So that was I went to Tokyo Auto Salon in January, then I went to Toyota factories, and then again in May, another Toyota factory, and then one more time in November. So I think every trip to Toyota factory or Lexus factory were really interesting, exciting for me anyway. I think the Lexus LC 500 factory was no question the most impressive and most interesting. And I had absolutely no intention of buying the LC 500 at the time. But when I came back, my dealer said, David, we just got extra allocation for Inspiration Series. You need to take it. And I somehow made it work. So I would say those are my highlights. Kirk, over to you. What about you?
Yeah, well, anytime you get to go to Japan, I've only been twice. Once with you last
Mm,
year, and hopefully again in 2025. We'll get to go again together. That'd be so much fun. But yeah,
definitely.
most of you guys, if you follow my channel, you got to see my journey a little bit with Honda this time.
Mm,
And David and I went to Honda's R&D, or not R&D center. I went R&D, but last year we went to their headquarters in
mm,
Aoyama,
that's right, in
and it
Japan,
was
in
great.
Tokyo.
And we revisited it with Honda this time around this year, and it was a bit bittersweet for a lot of reasons because it's going to be torn down this spring, and the new headquarters won't be up for 4 or 5 more years. So I mean, there's a lot of history. Like literally in the basement, Honda took me down to the basement. I was fortunate enough to see Soichiro's water tanks. He's got 2 big water tanks made out of Canadian, a type of Canadian wood, and it smells great. It smells like a sauna down there, and they're always pumping in fresh water in case of an emergency. So that was a bit surreal, knowing that it's all going to be going away. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, the whole trip there, I got to do my karaoke with Honda. Met up with some good friends over there as well, and it was just an incredible time. I got to meet some new friends too,
Mm.
and it was incredible. The food's great, cars were great. Wish I got to drive Honda Zero Series a little bit more. I got 5 minutes driving it,
You
so
spent a week or something in Japan, right?
spent the week in Japan and
And
drove
drove car for 5 minutes. Yeah,
drove a Honda for 5 minutes. But I also
can't
got to go
complain.
on Motegi. I got to go on a tour bus around Motegi
Mm,
Raceway. And it was right on the night before the Moto GP race. It was so
mm,
cool.
that
So
is cool.
yeah,
Well, it doesn't matter how many times you go to Japan, you never get tired of it, right? Even for me,
no,
even though
no,
I'm from there.
exactly.
Well, we're going, which is a segue, to just talk about, what Kirk and I plan to do together. So I'm actually not going to Tokyo Auto Salon in January. I normally go, but we have a long, kind of long planned for a long time now, a family vacation, or just my wife and I actually, to go to African safari at the same time. So I will miss the auto salon, although I've heard there's not a huge announcement coming. Like for example, Akio Tora I don't think he's going to be there. Instead, he's
Oh,
going
he's
to be
going to be at CES.
he's going to be at CES instead. So, which is a big deal to talk about Woven City. So that was a surprise. And so I also cannot go to CES because of my trip, my personal trip. And then, which also means that I'm going to miss the Toyota 4Runner driving press event. So I missed 3 major events in January, but that's okay. Life has to have a bit of a balance between work and
Yeah, but
fun.
going on a safari is bigger than those 3 events. It's more major.
I guess so. That's true too. Yes, yes, yes. I'm looking forward to that. But definitely, I'll be making a few trips to Japan, but in October, Kirk, you're coming for sure, right? To Japan Mobility Show?
I have I have
Mm.
no reason not to.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from a business case, like it did really well for us last year. Helped our
Yeah,
channels
yeah.
grow. Helped definitely close out a strong year for the channels. So I don't see any reason not to. And there's not a big American influence
No.
and representation over there, even though, gosh, Japanese brands obviously they do well on our channels, but they're
Mm,
they're huge. And I feel like that's almost a segue into we don't have to talk about this now, but we got to talk about this some point today,
mm.
the Honda Nissan Mitsubishi alliance.
Right. Yeah, we definitely need to cover that for sure.
Because you and
Yeah.
I don't think we've
Mm.
talked about it recently anyway.
No, we haven't. I've got lots of opinions on that, and yeah, I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll definitely come back to that. I'll just practice making sure that I can show people's comments. So let me do this. Uh, so I'll cover this one off quickly. Have you reserved the Forerunner yet? So, I'm torn because if you asked me like a 6 month ago, I was gonna purchase a Forerunner, a TRD Pro or Trail Hunter, and then to be honest, I'm not sure if it's a good use of my fund because it's almost as expensive as Land Cruiser. And maybe I'd rather get a GX, even though maybe you guys might want to see me on a Forerunner, or I should just wait and buy the new RAV4. So tentatively, I have someone who's probably hold it for me, the new one, the first one that comes out, but I'm not sure yet. So the answer is not maybe. Kirk, what do you think? Do you think I should buy the Forerunner or skip this one?
I mean, I haven't driven it yet, but
Yeah.
we've driven other F platform vehicles like the Land Cruiser and the Tacoma, and well, the Sequoia, the J300, the Sequoia, they're going to feel different, right? Because they're a little bit bigger, but it's going to feel very Land Cruiser-y, very Tacoma-y.
I think so too.
I think there are zero secrets for us to learn about the new Forerunner.
Yeah, zero secret. I agree.
Other than the SR5, the rest of the trim levels really went up a lot in pricing. It's tight in the second row. The styling, to me, it's still growing on me.
Yeah, but not super good looking. I agree.
And the Land Cruiser looks incredible.
Yeah, I know.
Land Cruiser is amazing. Whether you get the circular headlights, I mean, the 1958, they really dumbed down that model. But yeah, once there's aftermarket, I would just take off the front bumper and put a metal bumper or something on there. But
yeah, I'm not sure. And then kind of related to that, Kirk, somebody's asking you when will you get your new vehicle for the family?
Yeah, so when I drove so I still have my Prius and it drives great. It has developed some rattles over the years because that's just what happens, especially in like that era. Prius is so plasticky. But I had full intention to buy a Prius or a Prius Prime, but it just didn't make sense because like it's best off if I have 2 3-row vehicles for I have 5 kids, so like it doesn't make all that sense to have 2 vehicles and one of them only be a 2-row.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't have endless garage space. Yes, I'd love to have multiple toys. It's just it doesn't make sense. So with that being said, the next vehicle for the family, well, we already have a Toyota Sienna, but we have a long-term loaner with a Honda Odyssey, 25 Odyssey, and that thing is incredible.
How long is long-term?
It's a 6-month start. It started in October, so I'll have it through the early part of 25.
Perfect. You just have to keep on renewing like a 6-month for another.
Just keep 3-month review, 6-month review, 9-month review.
Yeah, none of us really need a car, right? We get not free car, but we have access to almost everything. So
it's just fantastic. I like it in terms of luxury more than an MDX, not the Type S. Type S is completely different. It's just so well executed, super refined. It handles well for minivan. It's got the luxury.
Yeah, it's actually fun to drive that one.
It's fun to drive. Yeah, it feels like a car instead of this big lumbering thing, which is still when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's anything special, but it actually can carve some turns, and the 10-speed and the V6 in it is just it's really good. So
yeah, definitely. Well, like I said, just keep on working on another 6 month long term. Maybe next is a Sienna or something. I think Honda likes you, so you can ask for MDX Type S or something next for 6 months.
That we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, this lady is asking me, Lori, I think. Yeah, Lori, what is your opinion on a certified vehicle? Is it a good deal? Am I paying for that certification in the long run? That's a good question. I mean, Lexus had a certified vehicle. Well, actually, every brand does. Kirk, what do you think?
Yeah, thanks for asking me. So when I worked for Lexus, there was a lot of benefits for an L certified vehicle. I don't remember exactly what they are off the top of my head. It was typically like 2 years of free services. Your warranty got extended. And so
almost like a new car warranty too.
Yeah, it's like a new car warranty,
in most cases.
But in some ways it's better because you could, if you're buying an L certified and it was still under factory warranty, you could double that factory warranty essentially for a couple grand. It's really affordable. The thing is like if it's L certified and it's outside of that factory warranty due to years or miles, then adding on a warranty is a lot more expensive for whatever reason. So, yeah, there's other like in order for it to be L certified, it has to, like for Lexus, there's a huge
high
checklist that has
standard,
to go
right?
through. Yeah, it's a very high standard. But yeah, I think it's absolutely worth it for a Lexus vehicle, but I don't know what the other certification programs are per brand.
Well, I have a good example because I just replaced one of our cars in our fleet, which was a 2020 RAV4 hybrid. Nothing wrong with that car, but I just happened to come across a 2018 Porsche Macan S, which is a last year that had the Porsche engine. After that, they replaced it with an Audi engine in 2019. And then any like incredible deal, it was $36,000 Canadian. So what is that, like 25,000 US?
Yeah.
Had a pretty low mileage, and then it was certified used. So they spent like $7,000 to fix everything from the brakes, replacing the tires, all new brakes, replace the tires, and fix everything up.
Brakes in a Porsche are not
Everything, and you get a 2-year, 2-year full warranty, which is like almost like a brand new warranty.
It's a good deal.
And I mean, it's what is a 7-year-old car, but for that price, I mean, it was an $80,000 car when it was new, and it drives like a charm. It drives just almost like a brand new car, and it's less than half the price of a new model. And normally, I wouldn't buy a 7-year-old Porsche, but if it has a 2-year warranty, yeah, I mean, it's a great deal. So I actually think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. A lot of people, including myself, buy new cars, but if you bought 1-year-old or 2-year-old certified car, you get the full warranty, whatever's left over, plus the usually two additional warranties, sometimes longer, and they fix everything. So I think it's one of the best way to buy a used or near used car. Okay, I think we should talk about the Honda Nissan thing. I think because Mike is asking me about this one.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to get specifically in terms of what cars will show up and which cars might disappear, but I mean, just to start off, for those people who are not up to speed on this one, Honda and Nissan have agreed to merge. Although I think it's more than just a merger, but a kind of letter of intent or memorandum of understanding, MOU. Is that right? I think it's what they say officially. And then Mitsubishi, even though Mitsubishi is part of the alliance with Nissan, is on the sideline for now, saying that they'll wait for Honda and Nissan merger to settle down, and they will decide whether to join that. And so that's the sort of a very brief summary. But complicating is the fact that Nissan is part of a Renault alliance, and so you've got kind of triangle relationship here potentially. And also Honda will be the one that gets to pick all of the directors, which means the new management will be Honda people, and therefore and then some of the strategy and business strategy will be determined by Honda as well. So unfortunately for Nissan, to me it sounds more like a friendly takeover than a true 50-50 merger of ecos. And so we could see in the product lineup merging together, but I have a feeling that there will be more Honda related products in the Nissan lineup than the other way around, except for the fact that body on the frame trucks and SUVs don't exist in Honda's lineup. So that could go from Nissan to Honda. So a lot to talk about this, but Kirk, maybe you can chime in. Let people know what you think, just as an introduction, then we can get into a little bit more detail maybe.
It's hard to start somewhere with this. You did a really good job summarizing it. I don't know if this is a smart decision by Honda, and if it's even Honda's decision, it might be forced upon them. I don't know if there's other political things going on in the background, maybe by the government or something like that in Japan. Because if Nissan were just to go belly up, that would really affect the economy in Japan and other places.
It's a huge deal.
Nissan is shrinking really fast in China. So is Honda. They're both shrinking very fast. Nissan faster in Southeast Asia. Seems like Mitsubishi's still fairly strong there, but it's like the Chinese autos are growing fast there.
Mm.
Nissan's shrinking in North America, has been since 2017, with no, like, yes, they have this like glimpse of hope with hybrids coming out in 2026, 2027 timeframe. That might be too late.
Mhm.
There's been reports coming out lately that executives are saying, hey, we maybe have a year left unless we get an
Yeah.
investor. And so this is that investor, is Honda. But the thing is, like, Honda's just so efficient, it seems like, especially in North America. I don't know so much about their other operations outside of here, but in North America, they're a well-oiled machine.
Mm.
A real high demand for their products. Like Toyota, they have a very low day supply on the lots, which is the complete opposite of Nissan. Nissan cars sit around on lots, huge discounts. It's hard to be profitable for those dealerships. Unless Nissan factories start building Hondas, I don't know what the answer is in the short or the long term. I know in theory, if they can commonize enough parts, enough technology, it will reduce costs. But does Nissan really have the capital or the long-term health to be able to help Honda? I don't know.
Mhm.
It worries me for Honda. Mitsubishi, Mitsubishi's so small here in North America. They're small at most places other than Southeast Asia and Oceania.
Mm.
But their expertise in plug-in hybrids could absolutely help both brands, because
Mhm.
neither of them have plug-in hybrids for the most part. Their global lineups, there are some exceptions. For example, in Europe, I think there's a plug-in hybrid CRV. We don't get it. But absolutely, Mitsubishi, I think, is probably doing the smart thing, just hang out in the background. The problem with Mitsubishi is Nissan has a healthy share in them. So they
Right.
kind of have to do what Nissan tells them to, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, Mitsubishi, even though as a company, it's a huge company in
Huge,
Japan,
yeah.
it is, in terms of the automotive portion of it, it is still very much not controlled, but very much managed more by Nissan than themselves, right?
Right.
So I'm just running in the background here the press conference between Honda and Nissan. So hopefully it's not too distracting. But yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be interesting events as it unfold. It's not officially approved, by the way, so this could still go sideways, and they might decide that it doesn't work after all. It has to go through all this approval and government, intervention of some sort to make it work. So who knows? But most people don't realize that Honda is more North American than you think. Like most of the
Yes.
cars we buy in North America are actually designed, engineered, and built in North America. So not the smaller Hondas like a Civics, but all the bigger ones. The Pilot, the Passport, MDX,
Ridgeline,
Ridgeline. They're all
Odyssey.
they're not sold in Asia. They're only sold in North America.
Mhm.
Whereas Nissan is more
Yeah.
global, and Nissan is
Mhm.
still reasonably big in Japan, for example, in terms of market share. Honda is tiny in many aspects in terms of market share outside North America. So that's why it's going to be confusing, because the merger affects not just their North American market, but global market. And so what does that mean for, in countries where Nissan might be strong, or areas where Honda might be strong? And so those are things we wouldn't know for a while. But it'll be a bit sad. I think it'll be sad because Nissan had quite a tremendous growth under Carl's gone. And I still remember Carl's gone because I've gone to Tokyo Motor Show when it was still called that way for last 30 years, and I went to every press conference where Carlos was speaking at the Tokyo Motor Show. And at that time, Nissan seems to be doing really well. And regardless of what he did or didn't do as part of the financial misconduct, it's sad to see Nissan kind of, break down to where it is today. So I don't know. We can just hope that the merger will be good for both sides and good for consumers, right? I think. Kirk, anything else to add there? I'm gonna stop sharing this for a second, so we can.
No, it's just, it's kind of a wait and see. If they do end up merging together. They said like August of 26. So it's
That's right.
just going to keep evolving,
Mm-hmm.
or it could just get if it gets canceled. There are talks of Foxconn wanting to buy up those shares of Nissan that Renault has of
Mm-hmm.
Nissan. So who knows where it's going to go? But it seems like Nissan wants to be with Honda. Honda, I don't know. I don't know what Honda. Like you said, the best case scenario is like yeah, there are other markets where Nissan's strong in, like
Mm-hmm.
Europe, Southeast Asia, maybe Japan, where Nissan's a little bit stronger. But yeah, the market in China for both of them is evaporating quick, and that
I
used to
know.
drive huge profits for them, as well as a lot of other brands. But like, it's not like one of them's doing well in North America, and one of them's doing well in China.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
if
true.
Nissan was doing well in China, they're just they could like I don't know, they fill in their weaknesses, but I don't know if Nissan can do that to Honda and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. So they're strong in similar areas and they're weak in similar areas.
Right.
A lot
Yeah.
of overlap.
It's gonna be pretty interesting. We'll find out in a year or so, I guess. I'm sure that when Kirk and I go to Japan Mobility Show in October, by that time we'll hear a lot more. Maybe even they'll probably introduce like a joint product of some kind, right? So we'll
Hopefully,
see.
hopefully we have
Hopefully.
something fun to talk
Hmm.
about instead of
Hmm.
just like what is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. We're interested in the product side, not just the
Yeah.
business side of
Yeah.
things, right?
Yes.
Um,
Well, product makes a good business, right? You got to
exactly.
have good product, and that's why some of these companies are where they are
Mm.
at.
Okay, so let me just show this one too, which is related to that, which is from Saint G. Infinity and Acura will be affected because it's a corporate
Oh, 100%.
merger. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Honda doesn't have body on frame SUVs as we mentioned. So something like Infinity QX80, which I'm driving this week, could show up on Honda's or Acura side above and beyond MDX. That would be cool, I think. Um, so is there something from Acura that could something like an Integra become a Nissan or Infiniti, I should say? Maybe, right? You don't really
Absolutely,
know.
yeah, because they killed off the Q50 and the
Mm.
the Q50 and Q60 coupe and sedan with
So,
no they have zero replacement for it. It's supposed to be
mm,
replaced by an electric car, but those have been postponed indefinitely.
yeah, electric cars is a bit of I wouldn't call it bust yet, but it's definitely slowing down right now, for now anyway.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let me just move on to, I gotta share the screen again, Kirk, because people are really wanting to talk about the Mini Cruiser, which I think you just did a video on Land Cruiser FJ or Mini Cruiser, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just bring that share screen.
We might have to go to Indonesia or Thailand, David, to
That's
drive it,
true.
right?
Yeah, we should go to Thailand. We can visit the
I love
factory
Thailand.
there,
I love
right?
Thailand.
You've
Yeah.
been there, right? I think you've
I've been
been
there,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. So hey, it's just a short ride from Japan. Well, actually, it's like 5 hour flight from Japan, but
Both of the trips are so long
I know,
to get to
but we
that side of the
could.
world. Once you're on that side of the world, it's not that hard. I mean,
You know,
Australia is pretty far from Japan too, though.
that's
So
true. Yeah, so maybe in the fall we go to Japan Mobility Show, and then either before or after we go to Thailand, if the Land Cruiser FJ or Mini, whatever you want to call it,
he's in
is
production.
introduced. Hey, well, maybe we'll convince Toyota to give us let us drive the
That'd be so
small
fun.
mini truck there, right?
That'd be
Um, yeah. So Kirk, what do you think? I know you just did a whole video about it.
yeah.
So if you haven't done so, guys, go and watch Kirk's video. It's a really
Mhm.
thorough analysis. But I guess the long and short of it is I don't think it's gonna show up in North American soil. What do you think, Kirk?
Yeah, I don't see a current pathway for it if what Best Car is saying is true, right? We're just taking their word for it. They have a pretty good reputation, right? So they said it's gonna be built in Thailand on the Hilux Champ
Mm,
platform. And those vehicles are not designed to pass any sort of emissions or safety regulations here in the United States. So, and like just precedent wise, there's no there's like hardly any vehicles made in Thailand that are
Yeah.
available in the United States. The Mitsubishi Mirage is going out the window. I don't know any other
Mm.
vehicles made in
I don't
Thailand
I don't
available in
think
the
there's
United States.
anything else. I don't think so either. Yeah.
So it's
It's
I think there's
very
a
unlikely.
snowball's chance for it to make it
Yeah.
here.
I mean, I will say that like if you look at this side profile, it looks identical to one that Simon Humphrey showed up when he
Oh yeah.
introduced the Land Cruiser
Yeah.
250.
Yep.
Remember in the background? I can't quite find that photo right now, but
Yeah,
he showed us.
I have. Do you want me
You
to
have it? Yeah, can you share?
let's see
So I
here.
stop sharing. You can
Let's see
share.
here. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yes, I mean the side profile looks identical to the Best Car Magazine's rendering. So I think we know how it's going to look like. Best Car Magazine is so ridiculously close to Toyota, including Akio Toyota himself, that they get a sneak peek, I think, like more than maybe a sneak peek. Maybe they probably have seen it in
Oh
person.
yeah.
Who knows?
I love talking about this idea with you is that best car shown, but it happens to journalists too, where these manufacturers will show us vehicles behind closed doors, and we can't say anything
We
about
can't talk
them.
about it. Yeah.
We can't like they take your phones, they take your nothing. You can bring a backpack in if you're lucky, but you can't film, you can't jot down any design cues.
Yeah, we can't even say that we saw it, right?
No, you can't say that it even exists.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like Area 51 sort of stuff.
True.
So let's see if I can
Yeah, whereas I think,
show
you know,
screen.
like I think whereas Best Car Magazine, because the editors are close to Akio, not only do they get to see him, but they are kind of allowed to talk about it too.
Okay, so it might be up on the screen. I think I'm
Okay, so
sharing
I
it.
have to stage here.
There we
There you
go.
go. Yeah.
So
Yeah, there you go. That's identical.
it's identical
Oh my
to
goodness.
best cars. Yeah,
Maybe
it
the
looks great.
but the
I
front
want it
looks.
so bad.
I know. Yeah, this would be such a cool thing. Maybe I need to like, you know, in Japan you can buy all these homes for like almost nothing, like these they call it IKEA, which is like abandoned homes, right? Because they, you know, like you're maybe gotten elderly and you don't want to have a big house anymore in an hour and a half away from Tokyo, so they just give it up and they just disappear. So yeah, maybe what I should do is buy one of those house in sort of a farmland for $5,000 US, and then I can buy the mini FJ Cruiser, Land
Hey,
Cruiser
David,
FJ.
that would be. I mean, that's a great idea. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, my camera is frozen. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
I don't know what's
So
going on.
do you wanna
It
re-enter?
froze. It froze when I started sharing my screen, so I don't know what
Oh, I
happened.
see. So let me see if I share my screen, would it maybe bring you back?
Let me stop my camera and then restart it. No, it's still
Oh,
doing it.
okay. Let me try sharing my screen then. So let me go back to my screen. You're still frozen? I think you are. Yeah, then I stop sharing.
I'm just replugging in my. I'm just
Oh,
resetting
okay.
my camera and
Okay,
stuff.
that's okay.
But
No
we'll
problem.
see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh, okay. I
you're
think I'm
back.
back.
Perfect.
I think I'm
You're
back.
back.
Yeah.
Alive again. So anyways, I know people really want it. And, you know, I think people also don't realize that Toyota is a very smart business company and they're not going to produce something that may have a low profit margin. And generally speaking, they're going to pour their money into the Land Cruisers, the GXs, you know, where the margins are 5 times more than smaller cars. So the smaller cars with low margins, they just don't get too much love. They don't get too much attention for North American market.
That's why I loved reviewing
Yeah.
the base Corolla hybrid. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, there's still some simple models, but cars are so complicated now, right? And just so expensive.
Yeah, it's because of there's a lot of legislation in America that cars need to be built a specific way. So many rules, and over the years, the rules that like, let's say in the 80s, you had to apply. You just had to pass this amount of rules to make a car. Now it's like
It's so
it's off the
complicated.
charts.
I know.
And how many hoops you need to go through, which costs money to get your car, your powertrain certified, all that stuff. to
Mhm.
pass safety regulations, all these
Yeah.
things. That's why cars are so big,
Yeah, inexpensive.
heavy, all these things that make cars less fun to drive as well.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
everyone's just, you're just like in this bubble wrapped heavy car now. And then, yeah, it's kind of sad. I mean,
It is kind of sad.
yeah, but
Well, I'm
there are a few cars that they're like the LC 500, unfortunately, and the Miata, but
still
they're
around.
not the most practical. But man, somehow they're able to get away with having a
Mm.
visceral feel. I know a
Yeah.
lot of Porsches still are able to get away with it, but it's not it's not with you can't like get in a small Honda Civic and have like just put some nice tires on it and turn it into a supercar anymore. So
It's true. Well, there's also like even in Europe, there's new cybersecurity laws. So your architecture for electrical architecture have to meet a certain standard so that basically a foreign entity or someone cannot hack into the system. And so that killed a lot of the Porsches, like Porsche 718 GTS 4.0, which is a beautiful car, not sold anymore there, and so forth. So it's just so many different complications in terms of law and regulations. But this person's saying something about the Hilux Champ will be available in Mexico. Maybe that bodes well for
oh shoot,
community. Maybe
gosh,
they do get lots of cars that we don't get in Mexico,
that
I
is
should say,
yeah.
which
It's a
is
free, it's
always
more of a
yeah,
free market down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
so
shitty.
maybe you guys, maybe then that's where we go. Then maybe Kirk and I have to take a side trip. You
Let's
take
go
your
down.
family, I take my
Yeah.
family. We go
I
to
also
Mexico.
I also have an open invitation to Costa Rica.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if they get different cars in Costa Rica or not. I know they
Mm.
get Lexus down there, which is pretty cool.
And what's the
But
open invitation? You have a friend or something?
yeah, so
Yeah.
I met a gentleman at actually the LA Auto Show when you may have met him too.
Who
And
is
he's like,
that?
hey, big fan of your channel. He's like, hey, I work for the largest dealership network in Costa Rica. The owner of this dealership network has at least one LFA. He's got
Oh, wow.
dozens of classic cars.
Cool.
He's like, you're welcome to come down and drive whatever you want. Give you a tour. You can see all these cool cars, take you to cool places. I'm like, well, that sounds amazing, but it's I already do so much traveling.
I
It's
know.
hard. It's hard to just sneak in a trip to Costa Rica.
I'll go with you, though. I'll go
Yeah,
with you.
that's true. You would go with me. That's true.
I mean, I'll be in trouble too. I also have too many trips. So,
Yeah.
but so anyway, kind of going back to our original discussion, which was any other cars that you were impressed with this year? Anything else that you recall from this year? And we'll also invite the viewers to let us know, reflecting back, if there's some kind of interesting things that you noticed that we presented, or cars that you liked this year. But what about you, Kirk?
Okay. Well,
anything else, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I made a video on the best cars that I drove in 2024. I would
drove
say
like, how many cars did you drive this year? 100?
it was like 130 or something.
Okay, I think I drove about the same.
Yeah,
Give or
a
take.
lot.
It's about a 2 per week, right? Kind of on
Yeah.
average, yeah.
And the LC 500 convertible. I mean, you have the coupe. Coupe's
I have the coupe,
just
yeah.
as good, just different strokes, right?
Mhm.
The LC 500 was the best car I drove last year.
Yeah.
It's probably the best car. If I drive it in that calendar year, it's probably the best car I drive every year.
I guess so. That's true.
Yeah. So, but outside, like, I'd say, like, what was a big surprise for me? Okay? So I like talking about affordable cars. I mean, the LC 500 is great, but not everyone has 6 figures to pump out. So I like the Nissan Kicks.
Okay.
I had zero expectations for that vehicle. Yes, it's slow, but it is such a big improvement from the outgoing Nissan Kicks, and I gotta show some love to Nissan.
They do
That
make some
vehicle
really nice products.
Yeah, it looks great. It drives really well. It's actually it handles like a Sentra. Like, it's really impressive. The ride quality is way better. The standard technology is good on it. It's roomy. And it was getting like 30 plus miles per gallon. It's fuel efficient.
Mm.
And it's cheap. You can get a base kicks for like $20,000 where I
Oh,
live.
wow.
So cheap.
I haven't driven it yet. So I think I get
Oh,
it.
really?
I get it in a couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm looking
I like
forward
it
to
better
that.
than the Corolla Cross. The
Mm.
only reason I take the Corolla Cross is if you can get the hybrid. The hybrid's great on it, right?
Okay, that's true. Yeah, that's
I
true.
liked it better than the HRV because I think it looks really good. The HRV's styling, like if we had the bezel styling on our HRV, I like it a lot more. It's just so I don't know why it's so
Interesting.
ugly. I don't like the HRV in America.
Mm.
It handles fine. It handles actually really well. It's just not very fuel efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very
It,
decontented.
it needs a hybrid, I guess.
It really needs a hybrid. And if the Nissan Kicks had e-power, I'd pick it over the Corolla Cross hybrid, but it doesn't. So
Yeah, I don't understand Nissan. They have hybrid cars, but they don't bring some of the hybrid powertrain to the North American market. So
it's
you know,
a huge managerial misstep and
that's
leadership miss. It killed
probably
them.
the biggest mistake they made. I think
They
it
get-
cost money to stand, to get it certified. So they probably didn't do it for that reason. But they
Yeah.
misread, and also they probably thought the EV market would take off, and they can kind of skip the hybrids, right?
They gambled.
They gambled,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was wrong.
No, Honda's gambled quite heavily on EVs too, and I'm going to CES to see their EVs.
Mm.
But luckily, they are still developing hybrid technology, and they have that to carry them. But we still don't have hybrids on Honda's large platform vehicles.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
strange. It's very strange.
Greg is asking, is it too late for Nissan Armada QX80? I mean, again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with the merger, but I will say the QX80 is probably the most impressive large SUV, body on the frame SUV I drove this year. I have it for 2 weeks right now, and even though I love the LX series, and I haven't driven the 700H, the QX80 is a better truck. It's a better SUV.
The new
There's no
QX80 is
question.
better than the LX.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was very hopeful, I guess, when I drove the QX80 to say that, hey, if this is the kind of product Nissan will come out, and maybe Kicks too, like you said, they might finally be on a bit of a roll to come up with some really good products. So, but is it too late to save Nissan? Probably, because these are niche product, and you're not going to sell a huge amount of QX80 or the Armada.
The Armada is still low volume. Yeah,
pretty low.
Armada looks great though. Looks really nice.
I gotta say hi to Luna Maria, whose name is actually Sayuri, who often makes comments on my channel. I think she makes comments on your channel too. But she's I still haven't met this person, but she's Japanese. Her dad used to work for Toyota, so she mentioned that a couple of times. She has a GX550 Overtrail Plus, if I recall correctly.
She's balling.
Yeah, so she's great, and but you gotta come and meet us, Kirk or me, at some point. You can show us your GX or tell us a little bit more about your childhood days growing up with your dad who worked for Toyota. Would love to hear that.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. So reach out to me or us somehow at some point.
Yeah, thanks for checking in.
Okay, and here, Kirk
right lane hog, yes. Camry LE. I know you don't get it in Canada, if my memory serves me correctly, right? It starts with the SE up there. Camry LE. Yeah, it's one of my favorite vehicles of 2024. The 5th gen hybrid system is fantastic.
It is really good.
So good. It's smoother than the 4th gen is on a Lexus a lot of the time. It's very powerful. It's super efficient. I got 62 miles per gallon in the Camry LE. It has the Camry LE has tiny wheels.
62? Did you say?
62.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
62. And I put a lot of miles on it to verify, and I filled it up at the pump and got 62 miles per gallon. It's a great buy. The fact that you can also get a heated steering wheel, heated seats on the base Camry LE is fantastic. The cloth seats on the Camry LE are more comfortable than the leather seats on the more expensive models, or the leatherette seats. I forget which models have which. I think it's Softex on the XSE and SE. I could be wrong, but yeah, Camry LE is top 5 vehicle. the Camry in general
And
makes me
Camry in
like it.
general,
Yeah,
yeah.
Camry in general, but the LE stands out of all of them. I like base cars because yeah, I'm cheap.
Value, right? Value
So
for money.
the value is insane on the Camry LE. Yeah, it's a
Mm.
really good buy. But all the new
Yes,
Camrys are good.
especially if you drive the Crown Signia and then you drive the Camry, you wonder, okay, you know what? Or the
What a
Lexus
car.
ES for that matter, and the Camry drives so much better. Oh, I shouldn't say so much better,
So
but definitely better. Is more
then
fun
the
to drive.
ES300H.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
It's got a really good steering feel to it, good feedback. The
yeah.
steering feels solid. It's
I
pretty
would
heavy.
the brake pedal feels got a lot better on
Makes
the Camry hybrids
yeah,
too. They've
it's shockingly good for that money. I would buy
yeah.
it.
So
I don't.
it's that Lexus slash Toyota Kaizen, right?
They keep
That
making
small
it better and
improvement.
better.
And there's no reason it should have been that much better being on the same platform. It looks the
Yeah,
same
I
from
agree.
the side. It's like the same car, but all the aspects that make up the car are better
Mhm.
executed, more
Yeah.
refined. Yeah, it's great. It's really good.
Okay. With a poor IIHS rating, so that stands for Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, I think. Rating for rear passenger disrated from buying a 2025 Lexus RX. So I'll take this one. I mean, you have to take all crash testing with a bit of a grain of salt, because you have to remember that there's a lot more dynamic factors that comes into play when you get into an accident, and more than half of the reasons why you might get hurt or not uh, are to do with the weight and the size and the angle at which you hit the car.
Mhm.
So these kind of any kind of crash testing will be determined by predetermined testing, and so you hit a certain way, and so it's predictable if you do it that way. But if you're driving an Armada and you drive a Corolla, it doesn't matter if the Corolla didn't do well in the test. Sorry, the other way around. It doesn't matter which car did well or poor in any kind of crash testing. Armada's going to win just from sheer velocity and momentum. That's just very simple physics.
Mhm.
So you can't really make a decision based on some of these testing. I think it's only helpful if you happen to hit a car with the same size. But in general, big cars win. Big trucks always win versus
Mhm.
smaller ones. So you know, poor rating for rear passengers. Well, that may matter if the RX is hit by, let's say, what, Honda Prelude or something similar weight, then it matters. It matters. But if you got hit by a Corolla in the back, then it's not an issue. So I don't know what to say other than that there's lots of factors involved in safety inside a car, and you'll have to make decision based on many different factors. But if you really want to be safe, you buy the biggest car you can,
Yeah.
the heaviest car you can.
Drive a tank.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
drive a tank. It doesn't matter what the testing
Yeah.
showed to win if you get
Yeah.
hit or you hit someone. So that's a simple
Yep.
engineering physics.
Yep. And the laws in North America really it benefits the companies to make as big vehicles as possible.
Yeah, yeah. But they're also
Uh,
lighter now. New cars are lighter because aluminum and then everything else. So, I mean, in some way, in strange way, if you hit a EV, well, you could also lose because EV has much heftier weight. It's also
heavy.
low center of gravity and
Yeah.
so forth. They're heavy. But anyway, let me see. Let me pick another question. You guys can ask more questions. Here you go. Thanks for the response. If we go larger Lexus, then it's body on frame versus unibody, which is better at energy spreading? Not
Oh,
necessarily
an accident.
in accident. So again, you cannot say the body on the frame is always better than unitized body or vice versa. It's not that simple, to be honest. But generally speaking, body on the frames will be better because the cabin is separated from the body frame, and therefore, regardless of what you see in the crash test, generally speaking, the frame will take more hit and absorb more energy than the body.
Mhm.
So, without making a specific comments, generally speaking, something with a separate frame will do better, given all other things being equal, right? So, Anyway, let's. What else do we have here, David? Oh, here, this one. Okay. Did you notice the vibrating hoods on many of the new cars, Kirk? Like people keep talking about this one, like the Land Cruiser,
Is specific. Oh, like on a Land
Tacoma.
Cruiser. I've
Like you
heard
notice
about it on
flapping.
some models, but Land Cruiser actually maybe when I
Land
was
Cruiser, little bit,
it
not
might
very
have
much,
on the highway when you're going like
little
80,
bit.
80
But
miles an hour.
Tacoma, right? People have been on the TRD Pro. It flaps because it's aluminum. So is that to do with the manufacturing quality? It's more to do with the fact that it's aluminum and not steel,
Material. Yeah, the
and
material.
it's really thin. So if you just put your thumb on the hood on most new cars, you can just press it
Mhm.
in. It's really flimsy. It doesn't mean that's not safe,
Mhm.
but they keep making the material thinner and thinner. So under
Mhm.
highway conditions with the wind buffeting, you'll actually you'll move the hood quite a bit. So that's a
Mhm.
common issue now, and unfortunately there's no way to fix that. It's just the way it is right now. Okay, let me see. There's probably another question for you somewhere in here. You want to take this one here?
Quadrajet. What about the 26 Passport Trail Sport? I'm excited for it. I think it has the looks, the functionality. It's got a big V6 in it. It's going to have Honda's 10 speed. If it, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's as smooth and refined as it is in the Odyssey. Because it's not that way in the MDX, not the Type S, just a normal MDX. But the Passport also has the new one coming out, has the new V6.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else has the Pilot. I think might be the only one that has a new V6 at this point. And I had no issues. It's been a long time since I've driven the new Pilot. It's been probably 2 years, but I think I enjoyed the powertrain quite well. So I think the Passport Trail Sport is going to do well for Honda. It has the looks. It's got more capability than any Honda SUV ever before. If you want to take it off road, let's be real, most people are not taking it off road. They'll put big tires on it to just drive around town. Is it? Well, I think we've talked about this before. It's not going to be more capable than a 4Runner or Land Cruiser.
Yeah,
But
any test
people
body
will be
can.
surprised.
Yeah.
People will be really surprised on what it is capable of.
I guess we'll find out when we get to drive it. But
Yeah.
The main thing is the unitized body is never quite as good as body on frame because it's not as high off the ground, and there's only so much you can do with that design. But I guess we'll find out. It will be kind of fun to take that on off-road course, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a question for both of us. Kirk, you said you would choose a GMC Sierra over the Tundra.
Yep.
David, I know you reviewed the F-150, so would you choose the F-150 over the Tundra? So, do you want to go first? Now I'll give my opinion.
Yeah, sure. I'll go. It's been a while, since I reviewed the Tundra, and I reviewed the Sierra maybe this fall or this summer. The V8 in it is incredible. So smooth, very
on the Sierra?
powerful.
You mean the Sierra?
Yeah,
On
the
the Sierra,
Sierra.
yeah.
Yeah. The Tundra does not have a V8 anymore. The luxury in it was pretty impressive. It wasn't quite up to the Ram Tungsten in terms of luxury, but it's pretty close. Yeah, I thought it was a really, really well done truck. Mainly, I liked it over the Tundra because I have a soft spot for V8s, and it was just very refined. But I'll let David take it away from here.
So I've driven the Tundra about 6 months ago, a couple of different versions of it. And I drove the Sierra, also Chevy Silverado, a couple of different F-150s. And I mean, I think I did a video comparing all three, but I actually like the general feel of the Sierra, the GMC Chevy twins, the best in terms of, especially the steering feel. It's actually electric power steering, but feels like a hydraulic steering. It's a fantastic steering feel, and the V8. I agree with you. The V8. There's two V8s, right?
There's a 5.7 to 6.2.
Yeah, 6.2 and 5.7, 5.8. Was it 5.8? Anyway, beautiful engines. I know they had some problems before, but it's been reliable since then. 6.2 liter Sierra. I mean, it's a beautiful truck, and you have that good old fashioned hydraulic power steering feel. It's not hydraulic power steering. You got the beautiful V8. And would I choose it over Tundra? I would have normally said no, because Tundra should have been more reliable, but with the recent recalls,
Yeah.
I'm not sure anymore. So
Right.
yeah, I would pick the Sierra over the Tundra. I think it's also it's about
I
the
think it
same
looks
price.
better too,
It looks better
honestly.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's a
But
handsome truck.
would I pick the F-150 over Sierra or Silverado? So F-150, as you guys know, it's the best-selling truck,
Mhm.
and it has many different variations, including some crazy Raptor models, which is
Mhm.
really amazing performance. But
Yeah.
again, the general feel, I kind of like the GMC Chevy versions better if
Yes,
you're comparing
I would
the
say. Yeah.
normal trucks, right?
Yeah.
If you want something special, go for the Raptor, and yeah,
The Raptor
yeah,
R that I drove was
crazy.
out of this world, man. It was incredible what Ford's been able to do performance-wise with a truck.
Hmm. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Um, but yeah, you've driven the Ram Tungsten too as well? The new
Not
Ram?
No, I haven't driven Ram for about a year. I drove one last year, I think, but not this year.
Okay, so you haven't driven the Hurricane inline 6
No,
then?
no, I
Oh,
haven't.
David. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Is it good?
oh my gosh. It
They don't
is
have that
so
much press
good.
release over here for Ram, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
fantastic. It's yeah, I mean, you know what an inline 6 feels like. Super balanced, super
Mhm.
smooth. It's more balanced than like a V8, right? So like when you throw it in the turns and just like the vibrations are like I like the like a V8 has some vibrations, but they're typically it's very very smooth feeling still. But
Mhm.
inline 6, sometimes you just don't feel anything
Yeah,
except
that's true. It's
the
so
power.
smooth.
And so the power delivery on an inline 6 is very unique compared to a V8, especially when it's turboed. Like, yeah, the super, you had a super at one point, right? So you kind of
I owned the Supra for 2 years.
the it feels like the Supra's engine is
Mhm.
boosted even further and dropped into the Ram Tungsten. That's what it
Oh,
feels like, and it is
okay. I'm
so
gonna have to
so powerful.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to figure it out how I can access that. I gotta drive that soon.
Yeah, so I would pick that over the
Mm,
Tundra as well. I like
interesting.
that engine so much.
And they make
Um,
good interior, right? Ram has a good
oh, the Ram's interior
infotainment
was the best.
system.
Yeah, it was the best out of all
It's
the
really
trucks,
beautiful.
big trucks I've driven. Yeah, it's
But
fantastic.
Tundra is selling well, right?
It's selling well, yeah.
It's selling well despite the recalls. So
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna take this one here, which is do I or both of us, I guess, can talk about it. Jason's Haggerty video about Land Cruiser. Did you watch that one?
No,
No, okay.
no.
I just watched it, I think this morning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And I mean, he was pretty harsh about the Land
Oh, I
Cruiser,
saw the
saying that,
title of it. Yeah, I saw the title.
yeah, he said the
Yeah,
GX is really the Land Cruiser with the V6, and he said the
yeah,
Land Cruiser's engine is horrible. He said so. I right up until the very end, I kind of agree with all the stuff he talked about.
okay.
Some of his opinions about Land Cruiser 70 series and sort of the direction that Toyota took and so forth. I don't think it's entirely accurate from someone who grew up in Japan. But he also, when he said the Land Cruiser 2.4 turbo hybrid is so bad, he says it's one of the worst thing they've done. I don't think it's that bad. I think the engine is actually very powerful. It's torquey, but it is not smooth. Like
Yeah,
when there's something wrong with the calibration, at least for this year. Hopefully they fix it for next year. You step on the gas and it kind of takes off, and then there's a little pause and it
yeah.
takes off again. Something is not quite right
Something,
with
yeah.
that, right? Do you agree with that?
I 100% agree. It's not up to Toyota standards or
No.
probably anyone's standards. It it has a potential. It's just it seems like it was rushed, and maybe they rushed it for emissions reasons or whatever. They had to get it into their products. It doesn't. Yeah, like I've had
Mm,
really rough downshifts with it. The power
very rough,
delivery
yeah.
sometimes is it's inconsistent.
Mhm.
And driving it in like sport mode makes it drive more like it should drive. It's like
Little bit, but
yeah,
not a huge difference,
it's
to be
not that
honest.
it's you still need a lot more work done to
Mhm.
the calibration, the software, seemingly.
Yeah, and
Hopefully,
you
it's
know,
not a hardware thing, but
well, the interesting thing is the exact same engine in the Tacoma, TRD Pro and the Trail Hunters I drove were better.
Oh, and it's
It
great.
felt way better.
It's great in the Tacoma.
I know, like
Yeah,
it's same power output,
I
right?
really like it in the Trail Hunter.
So, and
Yeah.
I think the problem is that they try too hard to make the Land Cruiser have that, acceleration to make it feel like, hey, it's like a V8 or small V8 or V6, and trying to convince people that this is not a turbo 4. They tried too hard to do that. They didn't have to do that. Well, first of all, they should have put the twin turbo V6 from GX onto Land Cruiser. The price is so close anyway. They could have easily done that. Just like before, the Land Cruiser 200 series had the same V8 engine as the Lexus LX. They could have easily done that, but they didn't. So that's the first mistake. But secondly, if they can calibrate it so it's more like a Tacoma hybrid, it would feel better. It would be a better powertrain that way.
I agree.
All right. So where are we? Did I miss anything? Do you see anything there? Oh, so let me just show Mike's comment here. So yeah, the Land Cruiser 250 in other countries are available with a 2.7 naturally aspirated six, and then
it's a 4-cylinder.
Oh, sorry, 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
And then there's also a diesel engine. So those two. So you can't even get the 2.4 turbo hybrid like in Japan for Land Cruiser.
Right, a lot of markets don't have it.
Yeah, so it's kind of very much a U.S. thing. But anyway, what about this one? Do you want to take this one? TX.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Lexus TX 350. All right. I often don't recommend it, but I have had some people who own the TX 350 lose their marbles when I say I prefer the hybrids, and typically only recommend the hybrid TX models. So here's the thing. Yes, it has the turbo 4-cylinder. I'd prefer it to be a V6, right? The turbo 4-cylinder is pretty smooth in that vehicle. It's pretty refined, surprisingly, because if you drive it in like an NX, it doesn't feel the same. So I don't know if they've done some more engine insulation or what they've done to quiet it down and smooth it down. It's more smooth in the TX than it is in an NX and possibly an RX as well.
I agree.
Yeah. Is it still like I said, I would still rather a V6, or I'd rather have a base hybrid, meaning the TX 500H should be the standard powertrain in my opinion. But
the hybrid it works well on that car, TX.
Really good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the plug-in hybrid. I guess would be the ideal sweet spot because
I haven't driven it yet, but it's also like 80, 81, something like that. 80.
I know,
80,
but it's a V6 plug-in hybrid.
I know.
Right? That's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
It's a big deal. No turbos.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be that's probably going to be the one to get it once it's officially available, because it's not. You can't even buy it yet.
It's available. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
The plug-in hybrid?
Yeah, they've been.
I thought it was delayed.
They make them in Indiana, but they ship the batteries in from Japan, I think. So until the battery plant opens up in North Carolina, the plug-in hybrid volume in North America is just so small. And the demand for Toyota plug-in hybrids is very high, or Lexus plug-in hybrids too. And so I'm going to kind of continue on a little talk here because we like talking about hybrids. But I'm reviewing the Nautilus hybrid right now. It's a turbo 4-cylinder hybrid, but instead of, let's say, like Toyota's turbo 4-cylinder, which uses a 6-speed, it kind of uses a more traditional hybrid with the 2-motor hybrid setup. It's actually a Denso like configuration.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So it's built in China, but they're using Denso parts.
Right.
It's so smooth. It reminds me of the old RX 450h V6 hybrid, but quieter.
I haven't driven that car, but I feel like enough with turbo 4s. As an engineer, I know that you can actually still meet the emission standard with V6. You can just like you have it on GX, but not on the Land Cruiser. So it's more marketing decision to keep on downgrading to 4s than V6, And I gotta admit, agree with many viewers who keep saying, "Come on, what happened to V6 and naturally aspirated engine?" I totally agree that it would have been, technically speaking, very easy to offer even a V8 in the Tundra, for example. It's technically very easy. It's more a marketing and slash financial decision to consolidate into a single powertrain or something straightforward, so they don't offer two completely different powertrain. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about this trend either. Everything is
Yep.
turbo four hybrids, and plug-in hybrids fine, but it's
David,
not going to change.
Yeah, I've ranted about this. Like, of course, we love V8s. V8s are fantastic, but the inline six can be done insanely well. Toyota's with the 2JZ engine, BMW's B58, like it can be done to a point where you really don't miss a V8. Yeah, you're not gonna have the same sound. I know that, but like the power delivery and the smoothness and the balance is just so fantastic. And Toyota decided not to do an inline six for their Tundra and Land Cruiser. I don't know why. They have such a great history with inline six performance engines. And then you have this little company like Mazda. There's an inline six for their vehicles. And it's just like, these companies don't make the best. Everything's a gamble. You have to gamble, right? So it's
I think for Toyota it's cost, right, which is cheaper to produce, taking existing V6 or turbo fours and making it work versus trying to design inline six again.
Yeah, but here's Toyota already coming out with 2 new turbo 4-cylinder engines.
Yeah, I know,
because they're not happy with their current ones. I would assume.
I think they know they can do better, right?
Yeah.
This one's a bit unusual one, but how do you protect vehicles from rising thefts these days? That's a tricky one, because you could just literally walk into a car these days and clone the key or something. What do you call that term? I can't remember, but and access it using stealing the what's it called? You go log into the Wi-Fi or something? No, not Wi-Fi.
The radio emitters or whatnot.
Something like the IR something they can hack into it and copy the system and then open the door and get in and walk away. So they always say the harder it is, the more hassle it is to steal your car, the thief is likely to move on to the next target. So you gotta do everything possible at put the steering wheel lock, making sure that you have an alarm system, ideally from the factory, if not maybe aftermarket ones, not leaving stuff in the car that looks obvious that are available. Whenever possible, park in the garage, obviously, and then whenever possible, park it if it's in public road, then park it somewhere where there's traffic. But I don't know. I think there's not a whole lot you can do, because almost everything is defeatable now, right?
The one of the jokes is like the ultimate anti-theft right now is a manual transmission, because none of these young people know how to drive them.
That's true. That is totally true.
That's kind of a life hack right there.
Buy manual.
Buy manual, which in theory those are the easiest to steal. Because, the old ones that don't have a parking brake, electronic parking brake, is a manual parking brake, right?
Okay. What else? Anything else in 2025 that you're looking forward to, Kirk?
Oh yeah. Okay.
There's so much stuff. By the way, give us love, give us the thumbs up or whatever you call it, likes, so that more people can find us. By the way,
where are we at, guys? I'm gonna have to refresh. I don't know how many likes we have. 52, and there is.
It's a 69 on the top left. We can see it.
Yeah, 16. About 70 people watching. Yeah, we can get.
It's been around there for the last hour. How long have we been talking for? Hour and 10 minutes. Okay. So yeah, if you guys are okay with this format, we're gonna kind of just a chat. I guess we call it party. I didn't do the party thing, but I do have I don't know. Should I put something?
In years past, I used to put up lights and Christmas ornaments and stuff.
I think there's a way to add something in my virtual hat or something. I think there's a way to do that, but I can't figure out right now. But over back to you. What were you talking about? Can't
Okay,
remember. Oh,
things to
what
get
are you looking
excited
for
for
25?
next year. I mean, new RAV4 reveal. It's the best selling car in America. So excited for that.
That's gonna be a big deal.
It's gonna be a huge deal.
Huge deal.
Huge
Huge
deal.
deal.
Probably the most important vehicle
Probably the
launch
most.
next year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Aside from Tacoma, this will be the most important one. Well, because Tacoma is North American product, whereas the RAV4 is global. So
Yeah,
it's actually you're right, more important than
huge.
Tacoma.
It's huge.
Yeah, we should talk about
We could possibly we could possibly get a Corolla redesign next year as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
yeah,
But
they keep talking about that one too, but it might not be high priority for them, I
yeah.
think. But before we leave the RAV4, Kirk, you wanna, what do you think will happen to the RAV4 in terms of
Oh yeah.
design, drivetrain, that kind of stuff?
Well, there were some spy shots. We talked about this on my live stream that it could have been a Toyota, might not have been a Toyota. It looked like it had the boomerang. No, they don't call it the boomerang, the hammerhead headlight design. That's a possibility.
That's spy photo, right? Do, do you want to
Yeah,
bring it up? Are you able to share it?
I don't
Oh,
have.
no, you might freeze, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I better not do that. Okay. Let me see. Okay, keep on talking. I'll see if I can find it. No, actually, you know what? I better not do it. It might cause copyright issues, so I won't do that for now. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
okay. So yeah, RAV4 should be like the Camry, fully hybrid, plug-in hybrid, potentially EV version at some point in time. It's such a winning formula, they can't change it and won't change it very
Can't
much.
change it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with Kirk that it will be, I think, will be 100% hybrid. That only makes sense with the current trend.
There's more of a demand for the hybrid, and there has been
Mm-hmm.
for years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the plug-in hybrid should get longer range. What is it now? 50, sorry, I think
about
in
40,
kilometer, but 40
42.
miles, something like that.
I think it's like
So
42.
hopefully that gets extended. It should get extended. There should be longer range for plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, it's 42.
Yeah, and I guess it's easy to assume that the front end will have the hammerhead design, kind of like the Camry style,
But more rugged,
but more rugged.
less soft edge, more hard edged.
So that's a natural assumption. So we'll see. I think it'll get a little bit bigger. I think they're very careful not to mess with the formula. So I think it'll be about the same size, maybe a little bit wider, a little bit
It's on
longer,
the K
perhaps.
platform, so
Yeah, maybe an inch or something.
wheelbase will probably be the same.
And you'll still be built in many different global factories, right? So it's built in Ontario, Canada, which is a huge producer of RAV4s, built in Kentucky, built in Japan at 2 different factories, if I remember correctly. Tsutsumi, I think, was. And it's also built in some other countries. Like, was it built in China? Maybe, right? I can't remember that.
Oh, I don't know the answer on
Okay.
that, but probably.
It's built in quite a few factories. So it will be a massive work for engineers to then change over to the new model. It's gonna be, if I was an engineer working on that project, it'll be 24/7.
Yes, they make it. FAW and GAC Toyota make it.
Okay.
It was made in Russia before the
Yeah.
invasion. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. We have 2 RAV4. Actually, I just sold one to buy the Macan, used Macan. But we still have my wife still has the RAV4 plug-in hybrid Prime.
So good.
It's you could never go wrong with that car. Even if you buy one now and then the new model comes out, I think you will still retain value.
Yeah, because the powertrain itself is one of the best powertrains Toyota's ever made, in my opinion. It is fantastic.
Yeah, every time I drive it, like the one that we just sold is 2020, so it's 4 years old. It still drives pretty darn good for a very affordable hybrid SUV. I keep driving and thinking, okay, you know what? They just got this formula right. And just like not so much, sorry, go ahead.
I was telling you I was in New York this week, right? And the Uber that picked me up from the airport was in a, I don't know, 2018 RAV4 hybrid, like base model hybrid. And I couldn't believe how smooth and torquey that thing was.
Mm.
And I'm like, yes, the materials in the backseat are terrible. I'm like, wow, ride quality is good. It helps that it's a base model, so it's small wheels, but like this still feels really good.
Still feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm sure the new model will be a little bit smoother, a little bit more power,
This will be
a
the
bit
5th gen system
yeah,
that the
a
Camry
bit
has.
yeah, a bit more fuel efficient. Yeah, the current one, even after so many years, still very good. Okay, let's take this question here, Kirk. Do you foresee these coming to North America? Plug-in hybrid Crown Signia and the plug-in Crown Sport. What do you think?
I'm gonna say no to both of them.
Hmm. And why is that?
Well, it's okay. So I'll try to make a case for them first. All right. Well, the Crown Sport in general is just not here either. So
That's right.
the chances of us getting a Crown plug-in Crown Sport is not good. But since we have the Crown Signia here, Toyota has shown that hey, on the Crown sedan that we have, there's 2 powertrain options.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And they will be making a plug-in Crown Estate / Signia for the Japanese market. It's not available there yet. For some reason, I don't know why. It's still not, that vehicle's still not available there. So there is a chance that we could get a plug-in Crown Signia.
There is a chance. I agree.
Say it's very small. We never got the plug-in hybrid Venza / Harrier that is available over there. And that might be it right now for Toyota plug-in hybrids. So I just don't want to get your hopes up for it. They will have the new RAV4 as a plug-in hybrid, of course. So I don't know if that would be too much overlap. I'm not 100% sure. So I just don't want to get your hopes up for either of those vehicles.
I agree that the Crown Sport, since it's not sold here, will likely not come. Even though a little while ago they talked about all the different versions of Crown becoming global product, but I don't think the new Crowns are selling all that well. So I doubt very much they'll have they want to dilute the whole Crown lineup by bringing another variation. So I think that's not coming. I think, and that means plug-in Crown obviously not coming. And I agree with Kirk that there is a chance that Signia will get a plug-in hybrid, but I think the problem is that Toyota was probably skipping these thinking because they thought they'll just go straight to EVs, right? That was really what most of the car company thought. And then, but because EVs have slowed down, they're going to have to rely more on plug-in hybrids. So I would say the Crown Signia plug-in hybrid is possible. I don't, whatever, 70-30 chance, 30% chance.
Coming to North America, not so sure. Coming at all, yes. I'm almost sure it's coming. Yeah.
Which brings to this question: is there a chance that we will still get naturally aspirated engines?
Yeah, well, 100% on the smaller displacement end. Toyota's new engines they just showed off earlier this year with Subaru and Mazda, or Mazda, how you would say it up there. But Toyota showed off 3 new engines, I guess you could say. I guess one of them is 2 of those. It's the 1.5 liter. There's a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated hybrid, but I don't know that maybe you're not referring to hybridized naturally aspirated engines. But there's also the 1.5 turbo and then a 2 liter turbo. Only one of them was naturally aspirated. So, but there's no configuration that they talked about without it being hybridized. So if you're talking about like a simple
I think
2.7
Jamie
liter
means
non-hybrid,
I think Jamie means like just pure naturally aspirated engine. I think
never going to happen in the United States unless regulations change.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, this is not the direction we're going. Everything is turbocharged or hybridized or whatever. It's electrified. You want to call it that way.
Yep.
So yeah, if you have a naturally aspirated engine in your car right now, it's in good shape. Maybe keep it for a while. I think it's like my Lexus LC 500 V8. That's gonna be.
We'll keep that forever.
But that car has a very high insurance, so
I can't imagine.
I was shocked. It's actually more expensive than some other cars that we've owned, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't know if I can keep it. it's too expensive to maintain, but too expensive to insure.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a lot of money tied up that
Yeah,
I don't
I
use it
get it.
very much.
That's sad though, because that car's so good.
I know. It's
It
just
you I honestly, that car's almost it's maybe best if you need to get your fix as a get one as a press car, get as a rental or something, or
yeah.
wait. I don't here, I'll ask you this.
Mm.
Let's say 5-10 years from now when they're seeing more on the used market and more affordable prices, what do you think insurance rates will be then? Will
Well,
it be
insurance,
better
I
or
think.
worse?
Well, we have a weird insurance system here in British Columbia because it's government-owned insurance. It's not privatized, so it's really expensive because it's a monopoly here. So we're in a
Oh,
bit of a different situation from
shoot.
anyone else. Yeah, so it's just really, even with our full discount is still really high. So I'm not sure what to do with the LC500. It's a very expensive car to keep, and I don't drive it very much, and I like trucks in general. So I'm tempted to sell it and just buy the GX, which people would think is absolutely crazy. But I'm a very practical person, and I probably bought that a little bit on impulse because it became available as an inspiration series. And I think honestly, I probably shouldn't have purchased it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll figure that out. I'll keep it for a year or so and see what happens. Maybe we'll definitely figure something out. But okay, so let's let me hide that. Any other questions you want to take in
Yeah,
there?
I mean, Brandon, because I love inline sixes. Brandon's like, couldn't have Toyota
Where is that?
essentially,
Can you push the
Brandon
show?
Edwards, he has a
Oh,
big
here,
thumbs up.
oh, here. I
He's
can
like,
read it. This
couldn't
one?
have Toyota essentially used some of the parts in the inline three turbos that Toyota uses for like the GR Corolla, for example? Couldn't they have just mass produced some of those cylinders
No,
and
it's not that
valves and
simple.
all that hardware and made an inline six? The answer is probably.
I wish it
Probably.
was that simple.
I wish.
No, it's not that simple. No,
It's not that simple,
no,
but
designing a new engine is not simple at
no,
all.
absolutely
It's
not.
a huge undertaking that takes about 3 years to build a new engine, to
Yeah.
design and build a new engine. So you've got to, like, somewhere in the corporate board level, someone has to say, yeah, we're going to spend $750 million to produce this new engine. Is like, are you going to make profit on this? And if the answer is no, then no. The answer is you can't produce this engine. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but like from a cost perspective, ideally you would have modular style engines and parts that
Mm,
can be reworked and molded into different configurations.
that would have been cool.
But I
I
don't think
definitely
it's
agree.
quite as Lego like as
No,
I would
it's
like it
not
to be.
quite that
Yeah.
simple.
No.
But I'm gonna take this one too. So we talked about it a little bit briefly earlier in the beginning, but I'm not able to go to Tokyo Auto Salon because I have a family trip together with my wife to African safari. So I'm gonna be missing the auto salon. I'm gonna miss the Forerunner press event. Going to miss the CES. So that's okay. Like Kirk said earlier, um, I can't quite compare a family visit to these events anyway. And I know, Kirk, you're not going as well, but do you want to do? Oh no, I can't even do like a live stream with you because I'm actually in Africa at that time.
Yeah, well,
Oh
it's
no, is
tough
that
to
right?
do
Is
live
it
stream with
is
the
it
auto
12?
salon because of the time
12?
difference too.
Yeah, it's 12, 13, 14. So media day will be 11. Was it 11? Day before, I think. Or it could have been the Friday morning. I think the media event is really short
Yeah.
in the auto salon.
I'll be in Orlando
Oh, are you?
doing Disney stuff with
Okay.
family.
So
So
neither of us can, at least we can't do live stream. I think we can do something after. Actually, you know what? I can't do anything until I come back from Africa. I don't even know if I will have much of a Wi-Fi there. So yeah, you guys will have to, sorry, we'll have to kind of skip the auto salon this year. But we will be at Japan Mobility Show in October. I think Kirk will join me. You cannot miss that one.
cannot miss it.
So you'll be there. I'm sure you'll be there with me, and we will have amazing time because that was really fun doing that together with Kirk last time. It was very hectic. We had
It was
like
great.
10 minutes to film like each car,
Mm-hmm.
but it was so much fun.
It was, yeah, fast, furious.
Let me see. A couple more questions, and then we are at the hour and a half mark. So maybe a couple more, and then we gotta begin to stop here. But this one here, any thoughts on Toyota introducing a Trail Hunter variant of Lexus 250? I don't think so. I think they're going a different direction with a LC. So there's no Trail Hunter, there's no TRD Pro, there's no TRD Off-Road, there's no TRD anything on it. In fact, it's so confusing that they have the 1958 and then the so-called Land Cruiser version.
Terrible.
Like, what happened there? What were they thinking? And then the first edition disappears. So now it's just Land Cruiser and
The same brand also
1958.
has BZ4X. So
I
naming hasn't
know.
been Toyota's strength lately.
I know. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
So maybe because of that, they might say we need to bring TRD nameplate
so
that's possible. But it would have been cool to have a LC250 Land Cruiser Trail Hunter. That would be so cool. But
I would love it. They're not going to do it.
They're not
never
going to
do it.
Yeah.
They're never going to do a TRD Pro.
Yeah.
They could still do Trail Hunter for Tundra and Sequoia because they're North American products. Trail Hunter is a North American thing. Land Cruiser is a global thing. They're not going to put TRD or Trail Hunter on a Land Cruiser.
No. I mean, wasn't the 200 series Land Cruiser, did it not have like a platinum though? Wasn't there a platinum model? You remember? Because we haven't had it
as like
30,
the luxury
30 years.
The high end.
Yeah, we haven't had Land Cruiser for 30 years in Canada, right? But in the US, you guys only canceled it in 18?
Yeah, no, it was like 21 or 22.
21, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So at that time, it wasn't, I think you had a different designation, right? There was like a platinum model, and then of course there was a heritage model at the end, but wasn't it different designations? Remember?
There was a heritage, but that was like a special edition, I think.
There was a platinum, I think, wasn't there?
There was a platinum or a limited. One of them
or
was
limited. Maybe it was a limited.
Yeah.
So that would have made more sense if it was Land Cruiser Limited and Platinum. I don't know why they decided to do something different. Like, people forgot, or they don't realize that Land Cruiser 250 is the Prado. The chief engineer said we were designing the next generation Land Cruiser Prado when they decided to change the name based on Toyota's input. Akio said Land Cruiser Prado should be a Land Cruiser. It's as good as the 300 series Land Cruiser, and therefore it should not be called Prado. At least in most markets. I think it's still called Prado in Australia.
They now have the same wheelbase.
Same wheelbase, almost identical frame.
They shouldn't coexist, in my opinion.
I
don't understand. It's almost like, what's the point of the 4Runner 2? So there's just so much overlap in Toyota's global lineup.
I know.
And within the Lexus, with the Crowns and Lexus too,
it's confusing.
There's just so much product. And it's great to have variety, but it's like, well, there's a lot of benefits we could have if they had a more simplified model lineup. I feel like cars wouldn't cost as much, but I don't know. If you simplify things.
I mean, I still think that some of these decisions were made during the COVID time in 2018, 2019, 2020 timeframe, and I keep referring to that as sort of the dark ages of engineering, when engineers couldn't get together physically and were making decisions over Microsoft Teams or Zoom calls. And I don't think some of the decisions they made were the best ideas in terms of marketing, in terms of engineering. Why is there isodynamic seats in a TRD Pro that cuts into the rear seat? It doesn't make sense. It makes no engineering or marketing sense on some of these decisions they made. So I think some of the weird stuff we're seeing now is because of that. That's my kind of assumption anyway. So I'm hoping that the next few years will be a better decision-making thing, especially with Celica coming back. We know that's coming back now. Maybe the MR2, the new Supra, new GR86. I mean, it's crazy. I think you did a couple of videos. I did some videos. There's so many sports cars coming in the next couple of years, right?
Akio loves performance.
I know. Akio's retirement sort of gift to Toyota was to say, bring back everything that we ever meant to Toyota. Bring everything back.
Crown. Bring back Crown. Let's do a Century SUV too while we're at it, and
Exactly.
let's
Yeah.
bring back every sports car.
We're not complaining, by the way, about
No,
that.
it's great.
So it'll be fun. But I think there's more videos coming from our channels about these new products. Keep an eye on Kirk's channel. Give him lots of love, please, for 2025. He's kind of taken over from me for doing lots of the previews and future models. I just don't have as much time. I still hold 2 jobs, so I had to cut back a lot. So I apologize in 24 that I didn't produce as much videos. Kirk is a champ. He still produces like almost every day. I can't do more than once every 4 days or so. So, tune in to Kirk's channel for news and upcoming stuff. Tune into my channel for maybe a different insight, my trips to Japan, that kind of stuff. My reviews are a little bit different from others. Maybe take a look at that. Otherwise, best wishes for everyone. Thank you for being with us this year. From bottom of my heart, we exist because you're watching us and you're supporting us. There's no other reasons to have the channel other than the fact that we can give you guys something meaningful and something valuable. And that's what we want to do in 25 from a different perspective. And Kirk is my best friend in the YouTube world. Even though we might not see each other in person that much, I really appreciate Kirk's insight and friendship, and we have so much fun. So both of us looking forward to continuing on next year. Who knows what the world will be like in a couple of days. But life is going to be always a challenge. So we got to take the curveballs and surprises with laughter sometime, and just keep the life moving forward. Right. That's kind of my year-end talk.
I love your year-end preaching. It's great.
And Kirk, what about you? Any last minute thinking about next year?
Anytime we get a chance to collaborate, it's always a fun time, meaningful time. It's a great time, not only for you and I to spend time together, but with our communities. Like you said, honestly, we are nothing without our communities. And we just have we're able to just share this hobby and passion that we have with so many people from around the world. It's really special. And 24 was a great year for the channel for me. The channel keeps growing. I still pinch myself every day that I get to live this reality, and just very, very fortunate, and really comes down to the amazing people out there that just enjoy learning and talking about cars. It's incredible.
Never a dull moment in the auto industry, for sure.
No.
Lots of surprises.
Yeah, 25 is going to be great.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we want to say goodbye, but of course, it's not a final goodbye, just goodbye for this year. And we'll have more content. So give us some feedback, give us some thumbs up on some of our videos. If you haven't seen some of our previous past ones, visit Kirk please, and let us know maybe what you want us to do in the next live stream. I think, Kirk, you're doing another live stream in a couple of days. Is that right?
That's the plan. Hopefully my voice comes back on January 1st. I'm going to do a mega video on the cars coming out in 2025. So I gotta rest up for that, because that's gonna be a big one.
I'll chime in as a viewer, maybe.
Yeah, come heckle me. Give a thumbs down for the algorithm, right?
All right. So with that, thank you so much, guys. See you guys soon. And again, let us know what you think, and let us know what you want us to do in 2025. Otherwise, best wishes for you and your family, your friends, and we'll see you guys very soon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Let me end the stream here.